Alright guys, today we're going to make a simple interest calculator, but we're going to do it a little bit differently from the last project. So first thing we want to do is open up Xcode, and then you're going to create a new Xcode project. Now here's where you need to pay attention. We have been doing applications for iOS and doing single view, but you're going to go to OS 10 and click application and do Coca application, and then next. Hooray! So you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call mine simple interest calc, blah, 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 blah. Everything's all good. Hit next. I'm going to send it to examples. Ta-da, and I'm all set. All right, one thing I want to mention, because I named mine simple interest calculator, obviously you're not going to be able to follow exactly the book. You know, in the book they say name it My First Swift App. So anytime where it says My First Swift App, you're going to just replace it with simple interest calc or whatever, however you named your device or your file, your program. All right, you may notice things look a little bit different. I don't see a storyboard category over here. But if you go through the different categories, you can kind of see, I guess, how these are put together for our OS 10. So you're like, hey, how do I get the little window over here where I can do stuff? Now, if you go to main menu, I don't think yours is open. I think yours looks like that maybe without this showing up here. So if I go to object, I guess, if you go to simple interest, the name of your file, and hit view, you'll get the actual window where we're actually going to move different items in there. And we can resize this. So now you have the idea. So go to there. We're going to add a couple things. The first thing we're going to add is a push button. So we're going to grab a button, move it down here in the middle and towards the bottom. All right, then over here we're going to look for labels. Here we go. And you're going to add 3 labels, top left. 1, 2, 3. Now those might be a little bit close together because you're also going to add 3 text fields. 1, and you want these to be, let's go with that one. We won't put them right on top of each other, we'll do them like that. And then I can move label, cool. Alright, that one's in the middle, let's make that in the middle, so now it all lines up. Cool. Alright, now we're going to rename these labels. So you're going to click on the label. This first one, the title is going to be loan amount. So then I need to make this bigger so it shows the whole thing, but then this guy needs to come over. And I may have just changed the space of that. Yep, I did. There we go. Okay. Alright, next label. You're going to rename this one to loan term. And make that bigger. Oh, you little. And then finally our third label, and that's going to be interest rate. Now, if everything's too small for you, again, you can always change the font size and do whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Alright, next we're going to add a result label. I'll just put there. We're going to rename that result, which looks terrible, so we're going to make that a little bigger. Come on, you little. There we go. I'm going to make that much bigger and then move it on over so it's in the middle. And then I'm going to align it to the center. And now I'm going to change the font size, if I can find that. There it is. We're going to change it from system regular and we're going to change it to, oh duh, I just want regular. I want this one. We're going to move it up to system 17, so it's a little bigger. Now, just to see how it looks, I'm going to hit run the simulator. Apparently I got to stop the old one and run the new one. So there's what my program looks like. So again, feel free to change any of these sizes, or if you want to do colors like we did last week, however you want to do it. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go back down here to this button, and instead of it saying button, we're going to say calculate. And if the word is too big, you're going to make that bigger. And then you're going to need to reposition it so it's in the center. And I can even move it up a little bit. Alright. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is some coding, but in order to do that, we need to add a file here. So I'm going to go up here to File, New, File. And we're going to do a source and Swift. Hit Next. And we're going to call this simpleinterest.swift, and make sure that both of these are checked. We want to apply to both of these. So simpleinterest.swift and and create, and boom, now you have simpleinterest.swift. Alright, now we're going to do the code in your book on page 184. So we're just going to create a simple function here to run our stuff. Now I'm going to cheat and cut and paste mine in. Give me a second. Alright, and there's my code, and it looks just like the top of page 185. So once you have that code in, we're going to go to the app delegate Swift file, which looks a little bit different, and then we're going to put in the code that's at the bottom, or well, middle and the bottom of page 185 and a little bit more on 186. So I'm going to put that in now. Alright, and if you typed everything incorrectly, you should not have any errors. If you're getting errors, that's bad. And now you'll notice a couple different things. One, in this version, because we're running for OS 10, we see NS application and NS text field and import Coca. But when we're doing an iOS, it's import UI kit, and all the fields are named, UI window and UI application delegate. So a little bit different there. If you're having errors and you type this code in, you see a whole bunch of errors. Your problem is you're writing the app for iOS and not OS 10. So if that's the case, cut and paste your code into a notepad or something, and then create the new project and then pop the stuff in it correctly. All right, now we're going to line this stuff up a little bit differently. So we've got the UI elements and we've got the code, but they're not linked together. So you'll remember last week we would just drag the UI elements into the code. This time we're actually going to kind of do things a little bit differently. So first thing you want to do is go here to Main Menu, and then you'll see all the little different items that we have. We have the 3 text fields, and you can rename those if you want. I can go to text field and name this the loan amount field, and that way I know what it is, that kind of stuff, if that helps you. All right, now in this list, you're looking for App Delegate, and you're going to right-click it. So if your mouse is not set up for that, make sure you set your mouse up for it. Now I'll go to Settings, so if you don't know how to do this, Mouse, and your picture probably looks a little bit more different, but you want to make sure that that right-click button, the little option over here on the right, says right-click. Because I think right now it says primary, and that's it. You want it to say primary on the left and right-click on the right. So by default with my mouse, obviously I'm good. So I want to right-click, and then I get this App Delegate. And you can see 2 of the fields are already linked. Window is linked and Delegate is linked. But now we need to link some other stuff in the code. Interest rate field, loan amount field, result field, that kind of stuff. So then assuming I have this right, so there's an interest rate field. So we can grab this little interest rate field thing here and drag it to the UI. And now that's linked. And then loan amount field, drag, boom. Result field, drag, boom. And then years, loan term, boom. Hooray! So now we linked it all really cool. And also we wanted to, no, let's not get ahead of myself. Let's stay there. So make sure you're good with that part. What the heck, let's click that now too. So button clicked, calculate, boop. All right. So that's the way it should look right now. Now I can close this. Now remember, if you want that back, just right-click App Delegate, comes right back, and get the little X, get rid of it. Now let's run the simulator. Let me stop my other one, and let's run the new one. All right, let's see if this works. So my loan amount is, do you want to do that? 10,000. My term, let's say I'm going to do 4 years, and my interest rate is 5%. If I hit calculate, the result comes there. So on $10,000 over 4 years for a 5% interest rate, I would pay $2,000 in interest, and then the whole thing comes up. So nice and simple, kind of cool, but it's just a different way to show you how to link these different things. So remember, you can grab the UI and move it to the code, or you can grab the code and move it to the UI. Either way, that's what's kind of neat about programming. There are so many different ways to do things, whereas with other stuff, like let's say networking, there's only one recommended way to do everything. So I digress. So when you're done, make sure that you save this and drop it in the Dropbox, and you are all set for this week. All right, folks, thanks, and have a good one.